Usually in One Piece, romance takes a back seat, but several couples have already been hinted at throughout the story, and many of them have a strong chance of happening by the end. So do you want to know which couples will end up together at the end of One Piece? Then stick with me, because that's exactly what I'm going to show you now. Well guys, today I'm bringing a really cool video about the couples that could be together at the end of One Piece. And even though One Piece isn't a story that focuses much on romance, many couples have been hinted at since the beginning, so there's a good chance they'll happen in the end. But before we dive into the couples, I ask that if you enjoy the video, please leave a like. It really helps me a lot and shows me that you're enjoying the content. So now let's move on to the couples. Alright guys, before we look at the possible couples in One Piece, it's good to clear up a few things. I know a lot of people have the idea that there won't be any couples in One Piece, and that's due to several reasons. The first is a supposed statement from Oda that none of the Straw Hats will have a partner. But this was actually a misunderstanding of an answer from Oda in the SBS. Someone asked him if no one in Luffy's crew falls in love, except for Sanji, who falls for everyone. And Oda sort of dodged the question, saying that they're all already in love with adventure. That doesn't say anything about whether or not there will be couples at the end of One Piece. But I believe there will be several couples have been hinted at, and romance isn't as sidelined as people think. You'll see what I mean when we get into the couples. Another reason some people don't believe this will happen is because One Piece is a shonen anime, a genre that focuses more on battles and less on romance. But many other shonens like Dragon Ball, Naruto, and even Bleach had couples at the end of their stories. So without a doubt, One Piece will also have its final couples. Now that we've cleared that up, let's get to the couples, starting with Usopp and Kaya. This is one of the most likely couples and is practically canon in the story. Even those who don't believe in romance in One Piece think they'll end up together. Kaya is a girl who lived in Syrup Village, the same village where Usopp lived. She came from a wealthy family and lived a happy life, but after her parents died, she fell ill and couldn't even leave the house anymore. Then Usopp, seeing this, supported Kaya and would always go to her house to tell his amazing stories, which were nothing more than made-up lies. He used to wait on a tree branch outside her window so they could talk, and so he could tell her tales of grand adventures he had never actually lived. But despite his lies, she still believed in him. When Usopp discovered Kuro's plan, Kaya's butler, who was secretly plotting to kill her and take her inheritance, Kaya was very sad and disappointed with Usopp after learning the whole truth. But when she realized that Usopp was fighting to protect her, she forgave him. Then, Usopp set off to sea to live real adventures, promising that one day he would return and tell Kaya stories that he had truly lived. She, in turn, promised to wait for that moment. Since then, Kaya has always kept herself updated on any information about Usopp, and vowed that no matter what condition he's in when he returns, she will take care of him. Kaya was probably one of the reasons why Usopp found it so hard to part with the Going Merry. He had a deep emotional attachment to the ship. After all, it was a gift from Kaya. He even fought with Luffy over the ship, all because of what it represented to him. Now moving on to the next couple, Chopper and Milky. This is another pairing that was also hinted at in the series. In chapter 446, while Nami was taking a bath, Chopper told Usopp that he had no interest in seeing human girls bathing, showing that he doesn't have romantic feelings toward humans. Oda even confirmed this, saying that Chopper can only fall in love with a beautiful reindeer girl, and that reindeer girl did appear. In Zoo, Chopper met Milky, a female reindeer from the Mink tribe who works as a nurse on the island. Chopper fell in love at first sight. Milky was the first character in the series toward whom Chopper showed any romantic interest, clearly wanting to be close to her. Milky herself admired Chopper's medical knowledge and was grateful to him for saving her. Besides that, both of them share a passion for medicine. I honestly think this couple is very sweet and has a strong chance of ending up together in the future. And now, for the next couple we have Zoro. Zoro has potential love interests across almost the entire anime. There's Zoro and Quina, his childhood friend who might still be alive. There's Zoro and Tashigi, who looks exactly like Quina and is always chasing after him. And then there's Zoro and Perona. But for me, the one that makes the most sense and fits best is Zoro and Hiyori. There were several hints that these two could become a couple during the Wano arc. Hiyori, the princess of the country, and one of the most beautiful women in the series, was being chased by Killer until Zoro showed up and saved her. And that's how they met. After that, Hiyori got very close to Zoro, maybe a little too close, honestly. She took care of his wounds, and the two even slept together with Hiyori hugging him the entire night. I find the Zoro and Hiyori couple really interesting. Zoro also seems to have some connection with the Shimotsuki clan, and Shimotsuki used to be a daimyo in Wano. But I also noticed something symbolic between them. Hiyori often wears a fox mask when she plays her shamisen, and Zoro in Spanish is pronounced like Zorro, which actually means fox. So both of them are symbolically linked to the fox. And in Japanese culture, the fox is a symbol of marriage, a belief passed down from ancient times. I think that's a really interesting detail. The two are connected by the fox, which represents marriage in Japan. And considering Warino is heavily inspired by Japanese culture, I believe this is a strong sign they'll end up together in the future. Now moving on to the next couple, Sanji and Pudding. Sanji is another character who seems to have multiple admirers. Well, not that many actually. Robin, who he constantly fawns over, couldn't care less about him. And Nomi mostly just uses him to get what she wants. So the chances of him ending up with either of them are practically zero. That's why I think the one he's most likely to end up with is Pudding, the daughter of Big Mum and a member of the Three-Eyed Tribe. When Big Mum came up with a plan to destroy the Vinsmoke family, Pudding agreed to pretend to be Sanji's bride. So when Sanji arrived in Toto Land, Pudding acted as if she was in love with him and acted like she genuinely wanted a happy wedding. But in truth, she didn't care about him. She thought he was a freak and a failure, and she was only playing her part to fulfill her mission. However, everything changed on the day of the wedding. During the ceremony, just when she was about to carry out her mother's plan, Sanji complimented her third eye, saying it was beautiful. That third eye had always been a source of shame and bullying for her ever since childhood, which is why she always hid it with her hair. But when Sanji called it beautiful, something changed in her heart. That small act was enough for Pudding to fall in love with him, touched by his kindness, and for being the first person to say something good about her third eye. Pudding became completely smitten with Sanji. So when Sanji was leaving Whole Cake Island, Pudding gave him a farewell kiss and erased his memory of it, leaving her deeply sad and heartbroken. She was seen crying while thinking about the memories she had with Sanji. This is a really touching couple to me. They had genuine and well-developed chemistry, so I think it's very possible they'll end up together at the end of the story. Now we come to the couple Robin and Franky. Since the Enies Lobby arc, they've become closer, and Franky was the one who helped Robin find her will to live again when he told her that her existence was not a crime. It was Franky who removed her handcuffs when they were captured by the world government, and the two of them fought together against Spandam because they both despised him. Also, it was Robin who forced Franky to join the Straw Hats when she grabbed his private parts by creating arms on his body. Franky and Robin have great chemistry, and he often tries to get her attention in various moments throughout the series. In an SBS, Oda even said that if the Straw Hat crew were a family, Franky would be the father and Robin the mother, which could be interpreted as a hint toward them being a couple. While Franky and Robin may not officially become a couple, there are definitely a lot of points to consider between them. And finally, we have Luffy and Boa Hancock. Luffy met Hancock when he was launched by Kuma to Amazon Lily, the island of women, where no man is allowed to enter. Hancock was the empress of the island at the time. When she was younger, she was tortured and enslaved by the celestial dragons, which left her with a deep hatred for men. To her, all men were worthless, and that's why their presence was forbidden on Amazon Lily. But when she met Luffy and learned that he had punched a celestial dragon without caring about the consequences, and that he didn't judge her for having once been a slave, Hancock began to develop feelings for him. She fell completely in love with Luffy. From that moment on, every time she sees Luffy, her cold and serious personality transforms into that of a sweet and adorable girl who only wants to do her best for him. She even went so far as to sneak Luffy into the most secure prison in the world. After the end of Marineford and the 2-year time skip, Hancock helped him reunite with his crew. Although she was sad to see him go, she sincerely wished him good luck without saying goodbye. And before leaving, Luffy told her that he hoped to see her again someday, which made her extremely happy. Since then, Hancock always keeps up with news about Luffy and even hung up a giant version of his wanted poster in her castle. And even though Luffy doesn't currently see Hancock the same way she sees him, the two are one of the most likely couples to happen in the future. This is a very common cliché in shonen. The protagonist never pays attention to the girl who likes him, and only at the end does he realize his true feelings. So I really hope this couple works out in the end. Well guys, I truly believe there will be final couples at the end of One Piece. As I mentioned, there's nothing stopping that from happening. And if you think about it, couples, and even a little romance have been present in One Piece since the beginning of the story. So I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like, it helps me a lot, and also shows me you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss a new video. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and see you next time.